Good morrow, scholars. Yeah. Welcome back finally to Blood of the Dead. Hopefully this will be a little easier than the last time I took a long break, which wasn't that long ago. I apologize. A lot of things have been happening. Mostly my cat Frida. Those of you who have been on the channel for a long time would remember her. She died 2 weeks ago today, and it was just really difficult on me because she was my baby. I say that, but she was really my brother's cat, but after he went to the Air Force, she used me as a replacement, I guess. Yeah, so I had to take some time off for that. I couldn't do anything. And then I was going to start earlier this week, but my brother came home from the military, and so there's a lot of that going on, just trying to get everything settled in. Anyway, I'm sorry that I took a really long break after taking a long break, and now I'm rambling about this. I'm just forewarning you now, my dog Artemis, whom I've had since I was in school, when he dies, I probably won't record for a really long time, but hopefully that won't be for any or it won't be anytime soon. Anyway, we are in chapter 10, if I remember correctly, because I remember that strange sound that I couldn't really figure out how to make. Bear with me, it's been a while. Of course, I guess you would know that by now. Let's see, chapter 10, page 81, at Joe's place. Which is funny because my brother's name is Joseph. Joe didn't really want Billie and Des in his apartment, and the only reason he invited them back was because it was the right thing to do. But is it really the right thing if my heart isn't in it? Yes. April came bounding out of the front room just as they entered the apartment. She bowed and barked, and growled at the newcomers. Des took a step back. "Don't worry," Joe said. "She's friendly," then added, "to me, anyway." He locked the door and chained the top. April's lip curled way back, showing her teeth. She barked, the sound echoing off the walls. "April, quiet," he told her. "Sounds like Artemis. Or Maru, or Bronte. Well, all of my dogs, I guess. Me." Where was I? She barked again. "Yeah, that's Bronte." Joe stepped up to her and put his hand on her head. "Quiet, it's okay." The dog stood straight up on all fours. "Don't mind her, she'll get used to you in a moment." Billie nodded. Des had taken another step back. Probably a good call. The three stood just inside the door, Billie and Des looking at him as if waiting for him to say something. "If your shoes stink like the dead, take them off, otherwise don't worry about it. April will trail you around if she thinks you're one of them, might even jump on you." Des made a face, then took off his shoes. Billie took hers off as well. Where was it? Oh. Joe kicked off his boots and took April by the collar and led her into the front room. The other two didn't follow, and it wasn't until he stood in the middle of the room without them did he add, "You can come in if you want, or you can stand there. Up to you guys." That would probably be me. Billie and Des came in, but didn't sit. They were a mess, each covered head to toe in sticky zombie blood. "You should get cleaned up." "I said, April will go nuts if you don't," Joe told him. Billie shrugged. "How?" "Got running water?" Des asked. "No, but I have water. Bathroom's at the end of the hallway. Why don't you guys go down there and then clean up There's a few jugs in there that you can use. Same with the tub. Hmm? What about our clothes? Billie asked. Good point, Joe thought. He had a few things Des could wear, but nothing for girls. I got some extra. You can use them. Where? Des asked. The bedroom. I'll get them. Joe led them down the hallway, Billie and Des following behind, April behind them. A low rumble emitted from April's throat as she trailed Des's heels. The two visitors remained outside the bedroom door as Joe and April went in to find them something to wear. A few moments later, he came out with a couple of t-shirts, some pants, and socks. April remained at his feet. Here, this should do it. It's nothing fancy, he said and handed the stack to Des. Des took it between his palms. Thanks. No problem, he said, even though a part of him was having a hard time letting the clothes go. He didn't have much as it was, and he'd feel especially rude if he asked for them back when Des and Billie were done with them. He wasn't even sure if he'd see them again after they left. Des and Billie went into the bathroom and closed the door behind them. Joe immediately went to the kitchen, pulled off his coat, and tossed it on the table. April grabbed a beer, April. He grabbed a beer. Sorry, I was mixing lines together. A beer from the fridge and shouted down the hallway. April, come. Now. I wish my dogs would respond like that to me. Anyway. The dog... Never mind, that's how they are. Anyway. The dog remained in front of the bathroom door, gazing up at it as if she could see the two beyond. Joe whistled. I can't whistle. I said, let's go. Reluctantly, April obeyed and joined him in the front room. Muttering came from behind the bathroom door. Joe couldn't make out what was being said, but it sounded like Des was speaking. Is it just me, or does he seem to be a bit of a suck? What? April didn't reply. Just me, then. He took a swig of beer. It was old, the taste sharp and fizzy. Having these two here in his home made his heart ache, especially since one of them was a girl. What? The last person to have been in need had been April. She had slept over, back at his old place. Slept with him. What? They lay together on his bed, and it was there they kissed for the first time. That was all. Just a kiss. But it was one Joe could never forget. That's kind of sad. It was the first time he kissed someone he loved. You gotta get past this, he thought. Just move on. But it was impossible. April's memory lingered in every thought, on every breath. Was present all the time. Okay, I guess that makes sense. Even though she was dead, even though the stamp of finality had been put on things, he still held out hope that some way, somehow, he'd see her again, and this would all have been some big misunderstanding. It's hopeless, isn't it? The dog looked at him, like she did every time he tried to reason out his inability to let April go. A wide, dark-eyed stare, one filled with sympathy, and one filled with the hurt of being unable to help. At least that was how Joe liked to think his dog looked at him every time his heart went for a trip down the gutter. By the time Billie and Des emerged from the bathroom, his beer had been long gone. Billie led the way down the hallway, wearing a white t-shirt and black sweatpants. Des followed close behind, wearing jeans and a green t-shirt. Both the socks he had given them were gray. I know it's 2 pairs, but I'm picturing each of them wearing only one sock. I used to do that as a kid. I don't know why, but it drove my dad crazy. What was it? Got a place I can put these? Billie asked, holding up a wad of rolled up, blood-covered clothes. Yeah, Joe said as he got off the couch and went into the kitchen. He pulled a black garbage bag out from under the sink and had Billie dump the clothes in it. I'll toss these next time I go outside. When is that? Billie asked, bending her elbows and putting her palms on her lower back. Oh, okay. I use that position to try and pop my back. It doesn't really work. For me. What was I? April barked. Yeah. Quiet, Joe said to Billie. Tomorrow. I go out every night. What for? Des asked. Joe's mind went blank. He knew why he went out night after night, hunting the undead. But to put it into words, he couldn't even explain it to himself, never mind someone else. Let's just put it this way, he said. The dead are walking the earth. They weren't supposed to. Once you died, that was it. Now, that's no longer the case. It would be one thing if there were a set amount of deceased people walking around. It's quite another when they either eat the rest of us, who are still alive, or turn us into one of them. That isn't how it's supposed to go, Des. I go out to try and reclaim some of that life that was taken from us. Will I ever get it all back? No, but at least I'm trying. That's more than what most folks are doing. Humanity gave up, remember? We're just pulling through, and that's it. Let's try fighting for a change. You never know what might happen. Billie had a subtle grin on her face. Des's face was blank, as if he couldn't quite compute what he'd just been told. So you're what? Some kind of superhero? Des said. Joe smirked. No, but thanks for the compliment. I just don't think it's wise, Billie said. Going out like that, asking for trouble. Look what just happened. Crazy. And you want to walk into that? You're nuts. You just don't know I've got nothing to lose. Maybe, but you guys also walked into that. Yeah, but we didn't know they'd be all over the place. Neither did I. This is new. It's been a long while since they've gathered in those kinds of numbers. Think they're looking to clean us out? That is, wipe everyone who's left off the map. What? Before? What? Wipe everyone who's left off the map. Okay. That sentence just seems so awkwardly phrased. I don't know, moving on to the next city or something? Maybe, but I doubt it. They're not that smart. Besides, each city is full of the things, remember? April came up beside Joe and sat at his feet, never taking her eyes off Billie and Des. But they're smarter, or at least some of them seem to be functioning at a higher level than before, Des said. Yeah, Billie said. They seem more feral now, too, Des said. Billie looked at him, eyes wide. Feral? Now there's a big word, she said. One would think you read or something. I read. Yeah, comics. Still reading. Comics. I used to write those, Joe thought. Des would probably get a kick out of him telling him that. Maybe even get all fanboy on him. But that was a lifetime ago. We need to learn more, Joe said. Billie furrowed her brow. Have a computer? One hooked up to the net? Computer, yes. Net, no. I got rid of it. She looked at him incredulously. I like that word. Serious? Not everyone's a geek like you, you know. Des said. Shut up. Psh. I had to do that. I don't know why. Des waved her off with his hand. There we go. I was hooked up long ago. Not anymore. Didn't need it. Surprised you were able to disconnect with the service provider, she said, as if she didn't believe him. Joe flashed back to the right. He took a beer bottle to his computer in a drunken rage and tried smashing it to bits. His manuscript detailing his weekend with April was on there, and at the time he thought that by destroying the computer, he'd be able to get away from her and put to rest the torment of losing her. He trashed his modem, but the bottle broke when he went for the processor. A lot of surprising things have happened since the rain came now, haven't they? He said. She eyed him coolly. He held her gaze, not giving her an inch. for a guest. She had a lot of guts to talk to him like that. Anyway, Des said. What now? That's a good question. Sleep, Joe said. We'll talk once we're rested. It's been a long night. April growled. Where do you want us to sleep? Des asked. Joe still kept looking at Billie. She hadn't taken her eyes off his. Hey, yoo-hoo, Des said, waving a hand between them. I said, where do you want us to sleep? Didn't you hear me, Joe? I heard you. Take the bedroom. I'll sleep out here. Do you mind? Billie asked. It's fine. No, it's not. That bed hasn't been slept in since April. There's a sheet and a pillow. Should be good enough. A pillow? Des said. Joe shifted his gaze to him, grimacing. Is that a problem? Des took a step back. No, not at all. Thanks. Yeah, thanks. Joe turned and sat on the couch. Without looking at them, he said, If there's a problem, holler. April and I are light sleepers. Okay, Des said, and he and Billie left the room. Billie didn't say goodnight. That guy, Billie said as Des picked a side of the bed. What? That didn't seem a little strange to you? Des glanced side to side as if looking for a clue as to what she was talking about. I also do this pretty much all the time. What? He comes out of nowhere, saves our butts twice, invites us back here, then acts like a jerk. He's giving us a bed, Bill. She snapped a finger up and pointed at him. Billie, I mean, he said. He lied down on the bed and threw her the pillow. I can live without it, he muttered. So, what's going on? She glanced toward the bedroom door before joining him. You know what? Forget it. I'm tired. Upset. Good night. Night. She tossed a pillow on her side of the mattress and plopped her head on it. She closed her eyes, but the frustration swirling around in her chest forced her upright. He's lying to us. About what? About being off the net, that's for sure, and his whole speech about trying to make the world a better place. As if. He doesn't owe us anything, Billie. He's going out of his way to help us out. He rolled over and leaned on his elbow. Almost said pillow. What's really going on? She took a deep breath. This guy's not all he's cracked up to be, Des. What do you mean? You know, he says, or tries to come off as all selfless and noble and heroic. He goes around killing zombies for crying out loud. All for the greater good and all that. And he's not doing it for us, for the greater good. He thinks he is, but he's not. Then what's he doing it for? Himself. She adjusted herself on her pillow. You can't tell me that he doesn't feel a sense of pride every time he knocks one of them off. You can't tell me that he truly and honestly enjoys it when someone thanks him. You can't tell me that he hates any kind of hero worship. He's as human as you or me, Des. You and I both know that we can sugarcoat our service to others under the guise of giving of ourselves and being selfless and humble when deep, deep down, even if it's just a small part of us, we enjoy the thought of doing the right thing. It's one thing to feel that whole better to give than receive satisfaction, but do you know what that saying really means? I'm not sure I like her anymore. Des looked lost. No. It means that your joy comes out of seeing someone else benefit from your helping them without thinking about what it's doing for you, you know? Even if that doing it for you or even if that doing for you is being happy about doing the right thing. I feel like that's just a really negative way to look at things. Sounds like Miga. Where was I? Des clicked his tongue 3 times, as if counting the seconds until she was done. I'm not sleepy. I feel like a trucker. Where was I? So, why is this such a big deal again? Billie plopped her head down on the pillow and screwed her lips to the side. I also do that from time to time. I guess it's just, I'm not really an open person. You've always been straightforward with me. That's because you need a good kick in the, what? I'll just say Shin and call him a rip-off artist. Now and then, she smiled. Anyway, it could just be because I'm tired and maybe I'm on a different wavelength as a result. But this whole Joe thing, and I am thankful for him saving us, don't get me wrong, but this whole Joe thing bothers me because... Can I finish? Yeah, sorry. I also do that. It bothers me because I've known guys like him before. You have? How many zombie killers do you know? She closed her eyes. Des could be really clueless sometimes. Not that. The kind who put on a mask of being a good guy or being the hero when really there's something else beneath all that. Who? She rolled over on her side, no longer facing him. A pinch grabbed at her heart. She had resolved not to bring Drake to mind anymore, but right now, sleepy and emotionally drained, she didn't care that Drake's face haunted her memory. I knew this guy for about 7 months prior to the rain. What? The bed rocked as he scooted closer, presumably so that he could hear better. Presumably. Anyway. What was his name? Drake. Wait, I feel like I skipped something. Yes, I did, and there was a reason for it. Yeah, I'm gonna skip that sentence. Let your mind fill in the blank. Where was I? Drake. I don't know if I loved him or thought I did or what, because even now, when I think about him, I really miss him, but not in the way I think I should, Des just listened. She continued. Anyway, he was always there for me, listened to me go on and on when I was having problems with my folks, listened to me complain about some of the garbage going on at school. He even helped me with my homework. Every time we hung out, he always picked up the bill. He held the door open for me. Drake talked about the volunteer work he did at Winnipeg Harvest, how he worked the prayer lines at Trinity Television, how he went to see his grandma in the nursing home twice a week. The list goes on, but you get the idea. I remember thinking, wow, what a guy. Wish I wasn't so selfish that I could donate a handful of hours a week to a soup kitchen or something. That was another thing on his list, by the way, a soup kitchen. Did it once a month. The point is, after my initial awe of him waned, I started to notice little things that in hindsight should have been a lot clearer than they were. But at the time, I only found them kind of odd, and that was it. He used the word I a lot when he talked. He mentioned his do-goodings. He used the word, let's see, no, I saw that. A lot more often than a person really should. He was always quick to step in and offer advice about how he dealt with something. Say, something similar to what I was going through with my parents. What happened? Did the rain? I'm assuming so. I don't really know. After the rain fell, I thought maybe he was still out there and I should connect with him. The whole all-for-one thing humanity had going there for a while. But the way things worked out and winding up here in the Haven, I didn't see him, nor have I bumped into anyone online that I think might be him. He would use a handle like you? The punk girl thing you use? Probably. I don't know. So what happened? Between you guys, I mean. She closed her eyes, expecting a tear or two to leak out. Instead, her heart just ached even more. What happens to most girls, Des, when they think they found Mr. Wonderful? He dumped me for someone else. Didn't know who. I'm sorry. Me too. Had a really good thing going. Well, I thought so, anyway. What sucks about it is there's no lead up to it. No time of things going downhill or things just getting shaky. Just one day. Oh, hey, Billie, I don't think we should see each other anymore. Really, Drake? Why? Well, I found someone else. Been seeing her for a while, actually. Sorry I didn't tell you. Sheesh. He really said that? No, dummy. I probably would have asked that question. But something like it. I don't remember his exact words. All I know is he found someone he liked better and blew me off. I'm sorry. It's alright. A tear had rolled down her cheek. She only noticed it now. She wiped it away. Let's get some sleep. Who knows what time Joe wakes up or how long he'll let us stay here. Maybe if he really is Mr. Hero, he'll let us stay for as long as we need. Right, and we don't live on a planet of the dead. Joe stood outside the bedroom door, leaning against the wall. He had heard everything. Okay. Wow, it's a lot later than I thought it should be. I woke up pretty early today, and I don't know why, I just could not will myself to get up. Okay. I think for a first day back, that's a decent enough place to stop. Let me know what you guys think. Again, I apologize for being so emotionally sensitive to everything. I'm gonna check on Iggy real quick. I made a mess in there and I put him in the tub. That's kind of his time out. But also, you know, iguanas, they need baths regularly. Anyway, I have a Nerf dart in my pocket. Oh, real quick, just to like brighten the mood a little bit. I bought this. Give you an idea of just how big this thing is. Anyway. Again, I apologize for rambling. I apologize for the amount of time I took off. I really need to make at least one video telling you guys that I'm taking time off. I don't know why I don't. I feel like there's no need. But let me know if you would prefer if I gave you guys a bit more of a heads up. Anyway, what was I going to say next? I don't know. Anyway, until next time. Goodbye, everybody. And hopefully next time is, well, other than the next video, tomorrow. But we'll see.